what kind of surge are you experiencing in terms of the demand to provide lands and its relevant facilities to data center investors for the past 4 years, perhaps? Please, Pak Abed.
And
Yes.
adding to what Ohara-san mentioned, of course, what is expected from industrial estate developer, we need to ensure their requirement is fulfilled.
Now, not much yet, but we expect, their electricity consumption is kind of in the range of 700 to 1,000 megawatt.
Podcast Nusantara adalah persembahan dari Nusantara Datacenter Academy yang memiliki visi untuk menumbuhkan talenta digital yang berkompeten di dalam industri data center. Okay, so this is a hypothetical question from me. If there's a data center operator coming to your place and then I would like to have this land as my location, just picking randomly, is that possible?
As long as the land is still available, yes, we will definitely offer to the data centers.
Okay, do we have to think about the surrounding industry that will be the neighbors, whether they are chemical plants or perhaps something that can be polluting?
For my case, I think the data centers, before they approach us, they have done their research and study. Basically, they would prefer to be in industrial estates which are clean.
Okay.
Yes.
For example, before they come to our industrial estate, basically they have got the information about who are our tenants, whether there is a tenant who produces like heavy polluted industry. If they find out, definitely they will not contact us.
Okay.
So one of the requirements of data centers is they need to be in a clean, environmentally friendly industrial estates.
Yeah.
Okay. What
Yeah.
about you? Is it actually?
Yes,
okay.
he's right. The Abed-san is right, and we also encourage data center customers for cleaner zone. Yeah, so we usually we segregate if any companies who want to use chemistry, etc. That's also our important customer, but we keep away from data center area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's doable.
And then, what kind of infrastructures are necessary for every industrial parks to be able to support data center facilities in their area, and how do they need to ensure that this kind of infrastructures are in place? Abed.
Okay, first, power. Power is important not from one source but from two sources. Not only the sources but also the capacity, because data centers, they don't talk only about today. They talk 5 years or 10 years from now. For example, one of very good example is in my case in Suryacipta. Actually, we are preparing for the third substation,
Okay.
because we don't only concentrate on the on the sources, but we also concentrate on the capacity. So we need to ensure that our tenants, not only data center, when they expand, or including data center when they expand, they have the ample supply of power. Water is also very important, especially for cooling system. And then utilities. We know from the beginning that not utilities, I mean the fiber optic. We know that's their blood. So for my case, when I know that connection fiber optic is important, basically I told the clients, choose whatever fiber optic provider or internet service provider you want. They can come and then they can connect to you free of charge, because that's their business. We don't want to burden them. We want to give them the easiness.
Okay.
In addition to security, easiness, flexibility.
All right. Okay. Do you have something to add?
Yeah, especially utilities are important. Of course, electricity, as Abed-san said, multiple source is required. Also, multiple voltage. They usually start medium voltage, but after growing more than 30 megawatts, they need high voltage connection also.
Okay.
Yeah, we have already provided the readiness. Then for fiber optic, usually one data center will utilize multiple ISPs because for diversified connectivity. So this one we are also providing. I think water is more critical than electricity because electricity, okay, this is a national semi-public party PLN is supplying, so reliability is already high. However, just in case they need two connectivity from two different directions, then they also have emergency genset, etc. So electricity can be covered by lots of measures. However, water is actually it's from us. Water they have only one source, so water supply network should be more critical. So that we are very carefully developing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So redundancy is key, right?
Yeah, redundancy is the key.
Okay. And next, what are some of the potential risks associated with building a data center facility in an industrial park, and how do you mitigate those risks? Pak Abed, please.
The potential risk of having a data center.
Yeah, if there's any.
Well, not very significant risks, but we also need to consider about the risk of environment because data center they consume a lot of energy. I think if we talk about the future, environment concern is number one. That's why I think not only Suryacipta, but I think Ohara-san also think about what we can do as a developer in order to support the government, the data center investors, and us as the developer in order to reduce the consumption of power. We also help to mediate the communication between the data centers to the PLN to use the renewable energy sources. And also we are talking to the stakeholders like the government in order to give in order to support the use of independent renewable energy, for example, like the solar panels. This environmental risk cannot be solved by us as the developer and management company, but also need the collaboration with the data center clients as well and the government.
Okay, so there's already an initiative towards that more sustainable future, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because same reason, for me also, data center is very resource demanding.
Yes.
Utilities and energy. So if any disturbance, interruption, it's a biggest risk for them. Plus any kind of this sabotage or demo or around that security importance is also there. So those are the as we already repeated, those items are very carefully secured. So if any disturbance, we call it's a very risky. Yeah. So that is very important, not to have any interruption with utilities and not to have any sabotage by any bad guys or terrorism. So security is also important. So again, same thing.
Okay. So balancing reliability with sustainability.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all know that the data centers are really power hungry, and the industrial estate area has already you are already aware of that as well, and have already has the initiative to support data centers to be more greener, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then for the current trends in data center design and construction, have you got any insights on that, and how are you incorporating those into your industrial park development plan?
For this point, I think better for us to talk about some general requirement for the data centers facility equipments. Currently, as we all know, data centers are consuming lots of huge energy. Yeah, not only electricity, water also. And then actually each data center customer wants to be green. They wish. And we also wish. Yeah, we want to help them. So I think technology can, further technology development can help this issue. I mean, in near future, maybe HVAC system will be more efficient, less water consuming, and also, data center has lots of heat dissipation, heat generation, mainly from their server, like let's say CPU or memory, etc. So if new technologies such as superconducting processor inside each CPU is realized, currently it's still studying in some university or high-tech R&D companies. I think energy consumption will be significantly lowered, and then water consumption can be lowered. So I think this is what data center customers are also waiting for. I hope it will be realized within a decade or not too much later. Yeah.
Okay, Pak Abed, please.
Yes, adding to what Ohara-san mentioned just now, when their power consumption is reduced in the future, hopefully the portion of the green energy that they have in their own facility, it will become a bigger proportion of what the total power consumption. So I'm not really sure in the next 10 years or 15 years that each data center will be 100% green. But the thing is, the portion of green energy consumption, it may be bigger. Of course, with the help of the government as well, to support with the policies. And of course, industrial park management companies will have an important role as well over there. For example, if we have if the policy actually supports us, maybe we can have a solar farm in some part of the unused land. At least it can contribute to the use of green energy for our tenants, not only data center, but of course other tenants as well. So again, I'll repeat, it's not only the responsibility of us as the management company, not only the responsibility of the data center itself, but of course the responsibility of the government as well and the users.
Okay.
Yeah. So as we know, data center has a big land and a big facility in industry area. However, currently, their electricity consumption is much higher than the maximum availability of, for example, solar panel.
Of course. Yes.
Even if they put, maximized area of solar panel in the plot, currently it can supply only much less than 10% of their demand. However, as Abed-san said, if energy consumed much more efficient equipment is there used in near future for data center servers, CPU servers, then relatively the total energy consumption is reduced, and then somewhere here, the maximum capacity of green energy, such as solar panel, maybe within green energy capacity, they can operate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've already talked about different parties collaboration. So, but what else can be done to further push this collaboration? What do you think must happen between industrial parks and then the government agencies, data center communities, data center learning providers perhaps, and R&D institutions that supporting new tech, better tech, more efficient tech to create a resource efficient and cost effective industrial park and more competitive and more attractive area for data center operators.
I think there are multiple stakeholders you already mentioned. I mean, government, private, public sector, private sector, normal industry, data center, and also university, etc., etc. So different combination of those can do something different as well. So earlier, as Abed-san said, so green energy, maybe data centers should be and can be involved for that collaboration. And also data center staff's training also can be done. Then other collaboration, I mean, new technology R&D other than data center's purpose can be also done. For that combination, data center is yes, just back of house supporter. They can help because nowadays, if we use the internet for new technology collaboration purpose, actually location doesn't matter. Yeah, that's why we are using data, right? Yeah, so different combination of those stakeholders can do different good things, I think. Yeah, but I think majority, I think public sector shall take initiative, right, for this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your opinion, Pak Abed?
Well, adding to what Ohara-san mentioned, actually everybody, even for example, Nusantara Academy has a role as well in pushing the demand for data center to come into Indonesia, and also to push the use of green energy. So even as simple as having this podcast as well, we're actually promoting, well, indirectly, we're actually promoting the use of renewable energy. So every single person, every single entity, every single program like this podcast, we are trying to push the government, the public sector, or the other stakeholders, for example, like the data center itself, towards a green energy. And therefore, Indonesia will become a place, an ideal place for data center, but not with the connotation, not with the connotation whereby data center is power hungry industry, but data center is there to support a digital community, digital industries, for example, like startup companies. But also, data center has gone towards a greener practices.
Right. So it's a collective efforts, yes.
It's collective effort.
Collective effort.
Okay, so let's look at to the future. What are your predictions for the growth of the data center industry in Indonesia, and how are you preparing to meet the expandability or scalability demands of investors?
Well, of course, as industrial state developer and management, we need to prepare the land. And as I mentioned before, we need to ensure the power capacity for them in order to start and operate will be more than enough. The keyword is more than enough, not just enough. Okay, and then for us, for me in particular, we have to provide a safe haven for them to operate in a secure place, not only secure in terms of some unauthorized entry, but of course secure in terms of force majeure like flood, as Ohara-san mentioned before. Yeah.
Okay, please.
Yeah,
Ohara-san.
of course, that demand of data center is, I think, in growth, still growth. We cannot predict nowadays for far future what will happen. We cannot predict exactly. However, at least forthcoming 10 years, I think this demand will be growing. So as a developer, we need to be proactive to search for the possible land or the further development. Yeah, land price also matters, etc., etc. So we should be proactive.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, this is my personal feel. The more data is there, the more demand of data
Of course.
call. So it is kind of supercharging. But can you imagine 30 years ago, there was beginning type of internet, and the people are busy, already busy. Or email and website checking. Most of people said, "Oh, now I can save time. Maybe I don't have to do overtime work. However, such a thing never come. The more I think that people become more busy.
Mhm.
Can you imagine? Long time ago, we write a letter on paper, send
Yes.
to our business partner.
Yes.
We have a few days,
Yeah.
answer
Maybe
back.
weeks.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, weeks.
Just wait and
Now,
waiting and waiting.
now
right?
we can provide information or data faster for our customer
Yes.
counterparts, but
Yes.
response also fast. So, so
Right.
I think as a humankind, I think humankind should be the end user of this data. So I think for this kind of data or IT or internet should be useful for humankind.
Yeah.
I hope we can have more spare time in future to enjoy our life.
Okay.
Enjoy our life.
Yes,
We are using
yes.
internet. Should not be the other way around.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very interesting perspective. So before we finish our podcast, can I ask for a concluding remarks, something that you want to deliver for the data center ecosystem and also for the industrial area players, Pak Abed?
Well, maybe I would like to offer my senior Ohara-san to give the concluding remarks out of respect first.
Oh, okay, okay. Please, Ohara-san.
Today is as part of the stakeholders for data centers, environment. We are developer of the real estate. So, as I said, considering we should be proactive, to forecast what will happen for this, data center trend, internet trend. So we should provide appropriate environment, I mean land and also utility or accessibility, etc. And also we are also expecting more energy efficient system or equipment or parts, CPU, etc., to reduce the energy consumption drastically in near future, even if not next year, within a decade, so that data center customers should be also happy. Such that reduced energy can be managed by green energy very easily, so that total eco era will come.
All right.
Yeah, so this is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ohara-san. Yeah, Pak Abed, please.
Well, actually, the digital community of Indonesia is increasing. I mean, we can look at the number of people who has access to information, to internet, to social media. I think Indonesia is a very ideal place for data centers to come to Indonesia, and therefore we should try to make them easy to start and to plan, to start, and to operate their businesses. So we should give them some assistance in terms of permits and regulation, and of course we should give them some easiness to operate their business by providing back to my previous example, by providing as many ISPs as possible. We try to make data centers feel that Indonesia is a secure place to have the data center, and it's a good market to operate the data centers in Indonesia.
All right. Okay, thank you very much for those perspectives. Okay, so Pak Abed and Ohara-san at Nusantara Academy, we have this special gesture before we sign off our podcast. So let's do it facing the camera at the center. And in 3, let's say together, salam unity, okay? I'll count 1, 2, 3. Salam unity. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Podcast Nusantara. I hope our audience found this discussion on data centers in industrial parks informative and insightful. Special thanks to our guests, Tsuyoshi Ohara-san and Abednego Purnomo, for sharing your knowledge and experiences with us. Please remember to subscribe to our podcast for more exciting episodes like this. Join us next time as we explore more topics related to the rapidly evolving tech landscape in Indonesia. Until then, this is your host Sari Octaviani signing off. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.